Hello. Good morning. How's it going? Switch my mic over. There we go. Now it's working. Hello. How's it going today? I've got my You Are Amazing. Remember that cup. Yeah, don't forget, you're amazing. Hello to those of you who are watching the recording, because nobody else usually catches any of this quickly. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Hi, Steffa. Hi, Connie. Hi, Adriana. Good morning, Lori. How's it going? Hi, Christopher. Nice to see you. Welcome, guys. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Ashley. Did you have a good birthday? Hi, Elaine. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Nora. Good morning, Michelle. Hello, Jordan. Gabby. Hi, Gabby. I didn't get a chance to call you back. I'll have to call you after the podcast now. It's been a crazy morning. In fact, I'm all riled up this morning, you guys. I got some shit to tell you guys today. Man, it's been an interesting morning. Oh, I'm so glad to hear you had a good birthday. Hi, Cassandra. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Catherine. Thank you, Lisa. I had such fun conversation. That was such an amazing conversation yesterday. I agree. I learned a lot through Chen yesterday about a few different subjects. I love it when they talk about Atlantis too. Man, all this Atlantean drama is still playing out, and I think it's hilarious, really. There's just so much going on that it's still tied to 13,000 years ago. You'd think that we would have, sorted out these chapters by now. This is like season 2000 of this drama. So, anybody have any interesting plans before I go on and tell you guys about my crazy morning? Hi, Chantal. I'm just laughing at Cassandra going, spill the tea, girl. That's what made me chuckle. So, I may as well. There's like 50 of you watching right now. I may as well. So, I was doing clearings with Katie this morning. And I had a very interesting case that came through. And I think it was my worst case yet, actually. It kind of reminds me of that movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, if you guys have ever seen that movie. We don't realize how important our bodies actually are and how much, a lot of people just think, whatever, it's just something I've got. We don't realize how priceless. There was another case not too long ago where one of my hypnotist friends contacted me and they said, and this is a QHHT practitioner who, as you guys know, that not a lot of the practitioners are trained in what to do when their clients have an attachment. This QHHT practitioner put one of her clients under and they weren't able to speak. Like their mouths were like moving, but it was like somebody was doing that to them and they couldn't get the words out. They're like, it was really weird. So she said something like, speak, like commanded it to speak. And then the voice said, no, you're just going to chase me away or something like that. It's like, no, you're just going to get rid of me. And she's like, who's this? And it turns out that it was a young man that had committed suicide that was attached to this client of hers. And when she said, what are you doing here? Like, why are you attached to this person? This Earthbound said, and I quote, bodies are prime real estate. She didn't want hers, so I took it. That is what the Earthbound said. So as you can imagine, hearing something like that coming from your hypnosis client was quite jarring. So the reason I bring it up is because so many of us, we don't understand how priceless this physical body is and why it is such a hot commodity for all the other beings that exist around us. And this person I cleared this morning was somebody that took a lot of psychedelics, and this person opened a door they couldn't shut. I'll put it that way. And unfortunately, what came through that door was 3 Lizzies. And those 3 Lizzies, over the last few years that they have been attached, have pushed this person out of their own body. They literally stole it. And it wasn't just the Lizzies that were the problem. They had dozens of Earthbounds, dozens chained to this person. So even if they wanted to leave, they couldn't. And it reminds me very much of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where you basically don't realize that by these entities, by allowing these energies to come in, that they can quite literally push you out of your own body. And it's infuriating. My blood has been boiling all morning about it, because it's like it's like a how dare you kind of, in my opinion. It's like, it's just really hard to see what we have had to deal with. So many people are fighting things they cannot see, and these things can even be so formidable that they chase you out of your own physical body, and that is really, really shocking to me. We talk about attachments all the time, and we don't realize that sometimes, these things can get their claws in so deep, that there's not many options. And so I'm just really glad, because man, had we waited for this clearing any longer, I'm not sure we would have been able to help. But luckily, we got in just in time. Like, when I say just in time, I think we made it like, for this person. And so I do feel that everything happens for a reason, and that there are going to be good things that come from this. But at the same time, we don't realize it's just shocking to see how bad things can get, and how bad these attachments can get over time. Because if you catch them early on, then we can cut it off, and we can start, cut off that energy, cut off the connection, and then start allowing that person to be themselves, bring their true essence back into their physical body. But if these entities are allowed to attach to people for years and years and years, they can do so much damage. It's astounding. And I was just telling a friend of mine when I was talking about this a few minutes ago, I can feel it down deep into my bones that this is something that I chose to be here for. I've never felt more helpful for other humans than I do right now. And so I can't think of anything that I could have chosen to do on this planet that helps people more than this. So it's been quite an emotional morning for me, I must say, with all of this, because like I said, these are people, this person is a really good person that this happened to, and they have basically ruined their life, completely ruined this person's life. And so it's like this person now is going to have to start rebuilding everything from scratch. And I talk about psychedelics all the time. You guys know that. I love them. I do. I've been a psychonaut since I was 17, but I've always been very, 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 very careful. And I'm so relieved that I have them, because it could have gone in ways that I didn't expect. So I'm lucky, and unfortunately not everybody is as lucky as I have been. So I'm just glad that I can actually help those people in some way, because I mean, that person would have been screwed without this help. Literally, there would have been nothing they could have done. That's how bad they had this person. Just in a position where there's nothing they could have done for themselves without this help. So I can imagine that for thousands of years, they have felt pretty untouchable, these beings, because somebody in that position would not have been able to free themselves from that situation without this help. So I honestly do feel like this is the most important job that I could have chosen for here. Aaron sucks. One of my absolute favorite shows was Buffy. Now I understand. Buffy was my favorite TV show as a teenager. I was obsessed with Buffy. I even bought the comic books. So yeah, I feel you on that, Aaron, 100%. So anyway, I just had to mention that today because, man, that had me pissed off this morning. And it's okay, we do have these emotional triggers for a reason, because there is something to learn and experience through it. But man, did it make my blood boil when I saw how much damage they had done to that person. And it's just, it's how dare they? It's really all I can ask myself is, who the hell do they think they are? Oh, so anyway, I'm just lighting some Palo Santo for my gers this morning. Hi, Matt. Oh, I just had for those of you who are catching up now, I did start my little ramble early this morning. I I had a very difficult case this morning that has left me a little pissed off. But other than that, it's these damn Lizzies. They really get under my skin. There's probably a reason for that. And if you guys saw my post this morning talking about Atlantis, I really enjoyed the conversation we had with Chen yesterday about Atlantis. Because as I mentioned, we have a lot of drama and shit to clear from back then. And there was a post this morning that I shared when I saw that our lovely friend Kitesh, Quantum Healing, had shared a little excerpt from one of her sessions. And it was a Pleiadian past life where there were Pleiadian slaves, where there were women that were captured and used as entertainment. And if you hadn't seen the post, there's a post about it. It's about Jabba the Hutt. It had Jabba the Hutt and Princess Leia in the post. So if you go scrolling down, you'll see it. But they were basically explaining about a lot of the history that we have in our movies is based on truth, and how there was a time where there were a lot of Pleiadian women, especially, that were treated as slaves, where they were basically like Leia was when she was captured by Jabba the Hutt, where she was basically kept as, an in-house stripper. And so this is part of our histories, because, many of us, there's a lot of different humans, Lyrans, we come from many different races, but the Pleiadians have had quite a tumultuous history when it comes to the Lizzies and all of the stuff that has happened here on Earth. So for those of you who have felt triggered by stuff like that in the movies, like I was, there's probably a deeper reason for it. Many of us have been kept as slaves and have been abused terribly by some of these beings that are still abusing us to this day. And I do feel that a lot of our, what's the word? Our ability to brush things off and not heal, I think, comes from a lot of these traumatic times that we haven't actually kind of purged that energy from. Because whenever I find someone that has a very severe attachment, there's always some sort of a past life energetic resonance that has kind of allowed that door to open. Um, because almost always when there's a past life trauma or a childhood trauma, that is how they kind of get their foot in the door. So, when it comes to hypnosis and digging out the root of some of these really deep, unconscious traumas that have occurred to us in other lifetimes, it allows us to shut the door. And that is so empowering because it doesn't mean it never happened. It just means it's not influencing you. It's not being used against you because there are so many beings out there that can learn to use your trauma against you. And it's kind of like when the bullies, it's like if a bully learns your biggest secret, right? And then just starts blabbing it all over town, right? And they can try and use that secret to destroy you, to really just wear you down and make you feel absolutely like lower than low. Or you could just own up to it and be like, so what? Yeah, I made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. So what? Or, yeah, I'm not perfect. And I learned something through that. Okay. It's like whenever you allow someone to use your trauma against you, that trauma gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And unfortunately, like I said, that is what allows these attachments to come in. And if they can come in, then they can start wrecking the entire fucking house, if you know what I mean. And the longer they're in the house, the more they can destroy that house, unfortunately. So you have to just own it. Anything that somebody tries to use against you, anything like that, you just have to be like, so fucking what? Okay. I'm healing through that. And like, we've all done things we're not proud of. We've all done things that were dumb. We've all done things that we wish we could kind of change in some way or another. And even if we could change those things, it wouldn't make a difference. It would actually probably take away some of the things you've learned. So give yourself kindness and grace, okay? Because so many of us have things that we feel guilty about, and that guilt is what allows those things to happen. This person took psychedelics for healing. And did they get healing? No. No, they did not. So sometimes, these things are so deeply rooted that the only thing we can do is to actually talk it out and just start expressing our emotions in a more healthy way. And when I say more healthy way, I just mean not through abusing our physical bodies, because I've done that before in the past. When my ex was really, really abusive because he had attachments and I didn't realize, I started doing the same things. I would start drinking. If he was drunk and angry, I would just get drunk and angry. Okay, if you can't beat him, join him. That was my attitude too. And I was using that as a coping mechanism because I'm like, okay, well, obviously he's miserable, so I'm going to be miserable. And we may as well be miserable together. And we may as well just make it lighter through inebriation. And that's basically what I did for 2 years. And it was one of those things where, self-medication is something that you really have to be careful of, because so many of the things we think we're healing from, we're not. We're actually just perpetuating the same kind of abuse, just in a more physical way. So it's just hard. I realize so much about how addiction and trauma go hand in hand. And this is why, so many people that have these really, really deeply rooted traumas, and they think that it's okay to just go down and do ayahuasca and they'll heal it that way. This is how you can actually open the door even more, unfortunately, on those situations. So anyway, I'm just rambling. But this was a really emotional morning for me, I must say. And it's sad to see that somebody would go looking for healing only to find the opposite. And I wish there was a way that, we that's just anyway. I'm making myself speechless through my own thoughts today. I love you guys. I I wish there was more that we could do for people that are in that situation. And I do feel that healing is a process. It is a very deep process that can take even the rest of your life or multiple lifetimes to get through. But you got to start somewhere. And I'm just so glad that we can give people the chance to actually get these damn monkeys off of their back so they can heal properly. Because that person could not have healed themselves, not in the situation they were in. They were literally being prohibited in every way, shape, and form from healing themselves. So it's one thing when you really want a better chance at life, that you're trying so hard to work on yourself, right? And to know that there are beings that are, it's like having monsters holding you by your feet. It's like you're doing everything you possibly can to take some steps forward. And these big fucking monsters are holding your feet, not letting you take a step. And that is something that has really, really messed with me today. I must say, I'm just really glad that I'm in a position to help people in the way that I can. And I shouldn't even say me; it's the soul guides that are doing all the work. I'm just a scout, really. I'm going out and finding the people that need the most help. So, for those of you who are considering this work, I just want to say thank you for even considering it, because there are so many people out here that need this. And we can't clear the whole world ourselves. We need so much more help than this. We need as many people as we can get for this work, because they're everywhere. They are, unfortunately. And for those of you who are able to keep yourself in a high vibration and able to keep yourselves healthy and happy, you got to pay it forward and help those who can't. Like we are strengthening ourselves so that we can lift up others. Because we aren't almost every single person, whenever somebody says, in the detailed reports, a lot of people want to know who their star families are, if they're a star seed and all of that. Of course you're a star seed. You wouldn't be interested in this stuff if you weren't a star seed, because many of you know all this on a deep soul level. You're remembering it, yeah. But a lot of you came here to be of service. That's one of the most common things that the guides tell me whenever somebody says, why am I here? What's my life purpose? To be of service. That's why we're here. That is why I'm here. I'm not just here to learn. And I do believe that the part of the reason why I am so strong is so that I can help other people find their inner strength. And we all need to do that for the collective. Every time we empower ourselves and we strengthen ourselves through all of this, we strengthen everybody around us. And so I really do feel that we have probably one of the most important jobs on this freaking planet right now. We really do. We are not just here to be in reinforcements. We are here to quite literally shift the entire paradigm here. And that is no easy task, considering it's been 13,000 years of this horse shit. Body snatchers and beasties everywhere. Like, I'm so fed up with it. I really am. I just want to clear out the astral. I'm like, get the fuck off the planet. Oh. We've had enough. Get out. That's my opinion right now. Go find somebody else to fuck with somewhere else. I'm done. No more Lizzie bullshit. No more demon bullshit. I'm tired of it. We're kicking them out. They're getting the boot. And, whenever I hear Chen talking about the future and all of the wonderful things that are about to happen on this timeline, and I say this timeline because, God, I'm so glad we're on this timeline and not another one. So I feel like good things are coming, but we're going to have to work our asses for it. We're going to be exhausted. By the time this new earth gets here, we're going to be like, we're going to be so exhausted, but it's going to be worth it. So anyway, that's my big rant for this morning. How are you guys? What do you guys have a question? Anybody have any questions for today? While I'm just sitting here drinking my chai and rambling about Lizzie bullshit. Goosefraba. You can tell, right? Shake it off, shake it off. Like I do the Christopher dance, you know? Shake off all that anger. But they say that anger can be quite a motivator, and I do. I feel motivated. Let me tell you. Ah. We'll build the timeline where the crones are upheld with respect, Aaron says. Chantal says, has Chen indicated lately the percent though? No, actually. Last month, because I do my Chen chat once a month. So it was about a month ago that we had the last Chen chat, and he said we were about 60%. I don't know if that changes. Keep in mind that we are all in our own subjective holographic reality. So my percentage versus somebody else's percentage might be different. And it might only be like 1%, you know, it could be 60% here and 59% somewhere else, or 61% somewhere else. Or it could be completely different. Somebody else could be 30% through the shift because they're on a different timeline than you. But we are talking with Chen again today. And one of my favorite things about being able to talk with Chen on Astara is that Chen has no, to Andy's dismay, Chen has no filter. Chen just says whatever. And so a lot of this information that comes out during these private chats are things that you can't really say on Facebook. Because as you're all aware, they do monitor everything on here, literally everything. So if you want to know, today is basically a Q&A day. I'm going to ask Chen to do a clearing on everybody that comes to the chat. So if you guys want a free SRT clearing today where you get all your beasties and baddies removed, please do join Chen and I at 12 o'clock today. For those of you who had the chakra heart balancing opening, whatever it was yesterday that he did, I felt huge love coming from him yesterday. And it gave me goosebumps all over. I just love when Chen works on us energetically. I can feel when Chen is doing that. So make sure if you guys are feeling a bit off or something, make sure especially that you join us today on Astara at noon EST. So that way you guys can get a clearing, because if I ask Chen for a clearing, he will do one. So I'm going to. So for those of you who would like one, yesterday was a love day. Yes, definitely Stanza. Today is a pop day. We're going to kick some butt today. Or should I say, you know what's funny? The other day, and this was advice that came through Nim, through Katie's soul guide, or she said one of her amazing soul guides. Nim basically, and this is funny, I hear Nim going in the background when I said the whole thing, because Nim was basically explaining, like, you don't want to fight these beings. You can't fight a Lizzie. You know, she didn't say Lizzie. He said, you can't fight a reptilian in a human body. You just can't. Because no matter how powerful this is, they're still far superior when it comes to their mental abilities, okay? But they're still limited by their low vibration. That's the one thing that we have against them, is that we carry such a high vibration. And so one of the interesting things about how all of this works is the fact that maybe, you know, by carrying such an insanely high vibration, that we can kind of keep them off. We can keep them at bay. And that I have found to be true. Because there are people, somebody who I've met recently who is basically a meditation expert who you'll be meeting soon. I'm going to have him on the podcast soon. And so I was speaking with him about all of this, and he's had quite a few attacks recently as well. And so when we were talking with him about this, what was interesting is that these beings cannot get him unless he's had somebody else affect him, right? So it's like we've been saying for so long, if your vibration is so high, they have to try and mess with somebody close to you that isn't in such a high vibration. And so what's interesting is that this person, when I did a clearing on him, the residual energy was there because they knew we were coming, of course, and they do tend to run off when they know the clearing is coming. But when we asked the guides about the situation, and because this is quite a well-known person, they have a lot of followers and they've been doing a lot of very good works. And this is why the Lizzies were messing with this person. When we asked about it, Nim said to me, he goes, you have to remember that you cannot fight them. As a human, in your human body, you're no, it doesn't work that way. You need to come at them as a group. You need multiple beings in there. You need your soul guides in there. You need, powerful light beings, deities to come in to deal with these things. And so they also explained that when you try and battle these things head on, like when you try and fight one, they actually get to draw more energy from you. Because, whenever you're battling something, you're giving it your energy. So the advice for this person was to avoid them, to sidestep them, to consider it to be like a dance. So it is something that we have to do. We're basically dancing around them. We have to avoid them, because the more we try to butt heads with them, the more we get sucked down to their level, if you know what I mean. So, and as Gabby says, yes, and your adrenaline goes up when you fight. And that's what they feed off of. They love adrenaline energy, So this is why one of the reasons why they love alcohol and coffee and all of those things that pique your adrenaline. Christine says, like with horses and horse training, we are nothing to them. Small, weak. We have to approach horse training on a different level than the physical. Yep. So we're not really fighting them as much as I wish we were, because I just feel like kicking their ass sometimes. We're actually dancing around them and avoiding them, and we are not giving them our energy. So this is something that I need to remind myself constantly. When I see them fucking with people and it gets my blood boiling, I have to be like, who's and just remember that we're here to uplift things and not smush them like I want to sometimes. We have to send them love. And the fact that they don't want love, that they hate love, makes me want to send them love even more. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to send all the Lizzies love. I'm trying not to have any negative thoughts about them. I'm trying not to get angry and emotional about them. This is something I'm working on, as you guys can tell. Because I have no doubt whatsoever that I have some karma with some Lizzies, and this is starting to get played out in some of this work I'm doing, which is why they tend to like me so much. And upon reading posts like I read about Katesh's post with Jabba the Hutt and about the Pleiadians this morning, what I felt when I read that, I just know. There's some deeply rooted Lizzie frustrations that I'm still trying to remove. So, but we're all a work in progress. Like I said, we're all trying to heal all of this past aggression and anger and frustration and karma and all of that shitsnit. It's a lot of homework to do. Leanne says, it's the same thing my grandma always said to do with people who bully you. Exactly. Yep. And I'm sure many of you understand what that's like, because many of us starseeds were bullied as children. I was really badly bullied because we're different. We don't fit in with the norm. And I hate to say it, but some people do find your light to be blinding in some ways. And so they try and, keep us down in many ways. The bullies, they just get bigger. You would think being a little man that the bullies, that you get bigger, the bullies get smaller. But no, sometimes the bullies still get bigger, even as an adult. So we just got to learn how to deal with them in the same way we did as children. We just say, nope. Talk to the hand. I use the saying, send back with love and consciousness when dealing with what I thought was psychic attacks. What do you perceive psychic attacks are? I was also terribly bullied since I was little. Sorry to hear that, Aaron. Psychic attacks, we are finding quite a lot of psychic attacks on people. They're not the same as a curse. Because whenever we check for curses, we do find curses on just about everybody, because curses can be carried over from past lives as well. And if you don't clear the curse, then, and it can happen. I mean, people used to curse each other constantly. I went to a Roman bath in Bath, England, when I went to visit Jono and Andy for the class last time. And there were ancient Roman curses that were carved into stone and thrown into a sacred spring. Like hundreds of them, carved into stone, carved onto metal sheets. Like, and these were the expensive curses. These are the curses, because the ones written on paper were even, I mean, they were, can you imagine how many curses? If there were hundreds of them carved into metal and stone that were thrown in there, imagine how many were on paper and thrown in there and other things. So the Romans used to curse just about everybody. In fact, one of the little placards that I saw that they had retrieved from the water was somebody who made a copper curse. It was carved into copper sheet, and it basically said, "Whoever stole my bathing suit, I curse for all time," or something like that. Like, he didn't even know who stole his bathing suit, but apparently a Roman was so angry about his bathing suit being stolen that he cursed whoever stole it until modern times. Like, the curse is still on the wall. And it's like, how long do these curses last? Well, it depends on how angry you are and how much energy you put into that curse. Because whenever you send that negative energy and intention towards somebody, if they don't have good protection, if they don't have psychic protection, if they don't have some sort of something blocking that energy, it's going to hit them. They're going to be hit with that negative energy. And it's even stronger if you tell somebody that they've been cursed. That's why whenever they curse you, they go, "I curse you, blah, blah, blah. I curse your family, blah, blah, blah." When they say things like that and you hear it, you think, "Oh shit, I'm cursed." And that just gave them the end. Because when you believe you're cursed, that's when the curse actually takes effect. But we've also found that there are curses that have been around for thousands of years and still attached to people, and they haven't cleared them yet. Is there a way to clear a curse? Krista wants to know. Yeah, we clear them all the time with our soul guides. If you are sovereign, so which means if you have a connection to your team and you haven't been cut off by something like that person this morning was completely cut off from their team, if you have a connection to your guides, you can ask them to clear your curses for you. So whether or not they can is an entirely different story, depending on what the curse was about, etc. But in most cases, it can be, especially if it was a past life curse. We've also found, like I said, contracts on people. We just call it paperwork. I asked the guy, I'm like, "Is there any paperwork?" And they're like, "Yeah, there's some paperwork." And they're like, "Yep, there's a dark contract with an entity," or "Yeah, there's 3 ancestral karmic contracts, etc., etc." We bring a lot of baggage, you guys, and this is some of the baggage we bring in, is those curses. And who knows? This is the thing. That guy who stole the bathing suit, could he still be cursed to this day? Who knows? Because we have actually found past life energetic resonances of people that were thieves in a past life, and people who stole, people who pillaged in a past life. A lot of Romans and Vikings have come out. And their past life energetic resonances of when they were hoarding their spoils of war. That stuff still comes out to this day. We cleared somebody a couple weeks ago that was a hoarder. Their entire house. They do not want to give anything away to anyone. And so when we tapped into their energy, they were a Viking and they hoarded everything they took from other people. And they considered it a spoil of war. They earned it. So everything that they earn in this life, they got the same attitude. They're like, "No, this is mine. I worked for this. I'm not giving up anything." So you'd be surprised how much just an attitude can be carried over from a past life. It's wild. We are not that different to when we were in other lives. We really aren't. Can we call back any we've put out? Yes, absolutely. You can do it right now. You can say, I rescind any negative energy, intention, or curses that I have sent to others. I rescind it, bring it back to myself, and I transmute that energy into love. That's all you got to do. It's a declaration. Most of these curses started through declarations. So if you declare that you are removing it, then yeah, you can cancel it. Not all the time. It depends on what you did. There is an experience. Do you guys know who Michael Tellinger is? I've talked about Michael quite a few times. I ran his Ubuntu Stone Circle in South Africa for 6 months, and that was a hell of an experience. But what was funny, and the reason I tell you this, is that Michael was cursed by a South African Sangoma. It's a long story to why he was cursed, but he really, really upset this Sangoma, and rightfully so. She was justifiably angry because it wasn't cool, but the the fact that she cursed him wasn't cool either. But what was interesting is the fact that this woman came to visit me about 2 or 3 months down the road after Michael wasn't even there. Okay, Michael was gone. He was like traveling Canada or something at the time, and I was running the show for him. And this woman rocks up on the property, and she tells me, she says, I just wanted to apologize. She goes, that for my actions. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, I did something to this property, and I'm here to undo it. And I was like, oh, like, what do you mean you're here to undo it? And she said, well, I did something when I was very angry, and I cursed this plot of land a few months ago because she told me what he did. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. Like, not cool, not cool at all. But she did apologize. She says, I realized that I shouldn't have done this. And so she came in to undo what she did. And I watched her working, and she started to get very frustrated. And as she was leaving, I asked her, I said, is everything all right? And she goes, well, not to cause alarm. She goes, but I don't think I can fully undo what I have done. I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, sometimes, she goes, this is something I'm going to have to work on over the next couple months. She goes, so if you see me around doing things, she says, I promise you, it is nothing bad. I am just trying to undo it. It's going to take, it took her 10 times the amount of effort to undo what she had done than what she did it. So it's like opening a floodgate sometimes, you know, and when you've got all of that energy rushing in, sometimes it's really, really hard to shut the door on it. And she realized this and was like, damn, like, I don't think she wanted that coming back to her, because remember, anything that you do to others comes back to you threefold. So I think that was what she was trying to undo. But like I said, you know, you could see it all over her face that she was actually quite concerned about what she had actually done. So this is why I say, you know, you have to be very careful about when you're messing around with stuff you don't understand, because even a Sangoma, and she was somebody she knew her stuff. She was a very smart woman, I could tell. And she was very well trained. But like I said, even she couldn't undo what she had done. So just be aware of that not all the time can you clear what you do. So just take a deep breath to try not to do something that you may regret later. Okay. Especially when you're messing with magic and messing with other beings and communicating and making deals and all this stuff. Because, man, sometimes some of the things that we say, even if it's just one sentence can end up causing you lifetimes worth of all kinds of tough lessons. That's what many of these dark contracts are. Whenever we find a dark contract on somebody, that is a contract they have with an entity. And there's a lot of them. A lot. Probably 1 in 3 or 4 cases I find a dark contract. And they are basically when we have made an agreement with an entity for something, where, you know, they say like dealing with the devil kind of thing, where you make a deal with the devil. You say, oh, please, I really need this. I blah, blah, blah. I'll do anything. You say something like that. Oh man, I love it when you say things like that. They're like, oh, really? You're going to be my bitch for the next 3 lifetimes, but that's fine. Like, okay, they will make a deal with you very happily. So, yeah. Ray says, when you do witchcraft, you don't know what demons you're asking for the favor. They will come and charge you later for the favor. Mm-hmm. And I don't even like using the word witchcraft because there's so many different types of it. That's more along the lines of how we have light workers. Well, there's dark workers out there. Light work, dark work. So I really feel like that is a dark work right there. Lena wants to know how we can get a clearing. Well, you can get a clearing in many different ways. You can go to the spiritreleaseacademy.com website and look at the list of practitioners. We've got a whole long list of them. Or if you want to book a clearing with me, you can go to my website, astrallara.com, and you can book there. My wait right now is about 4 weeks, give or take. It takes about 4 weeks for a clearing. We're still organizing ourselves, and getting more students trained. So the more students we have trained, the more mediums, I should say, especially trained, the more we'll be able to get through these cases quicker. Because as many of you know, the mediums, they can't be in trance for longer than a couple hours a day. So, I mean, us facilitators, we could do this work all day long with no problem. But the mediums, when they go into trance, as you guys are aware, it's very taxing on the body to be in trance for an hour or two a day. So we don't really extend it much longer. So what would be ideal is if I had like 4 mediums to work with throughout the day and work with them in 2-hour, segments. That would be great. So for those of you who are mediums that are considering this kind of work, and keep in mind that you're all mediums, okay? Everybody is a medium, just whether or not they're trained as a medium is another story entirely. So soon, yes, he will. He will be on in 1 hour and 10 minutes, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be I've been jokingly calling it Chen Uncensored. But it's basically like a candid conversation with Chen about whatever you guys want. So I got to ask the questions yesterday. You guys can ask some questions today. And like I said, we can talk about anything we want on there because it's on a star and not Facebook. Yay. Oh, and I'll ask Andy, I'll ask Chen to do a clearing on you guys too. So we did have that big heart chakra opening yesterday. And for those of you who feel you might have a little beastie around, make sure you join us because we'll clear it for you today. So those of you who are asking for a clearing and asking for my website, if it's for you, you may be able to get a full clearing today. There you go. Well, I should say it's... I think that when they do a full clearing, though, I don't think that they remove like past life energetic resonances and all that. I think they basically just remove entities and earthbounds. They probably close portals and all of that stuff. But I don't imagine they do the really, really detailed clearing that we do. We have like 30 things that we go through when we do the full protocol. So if you want a report and all of that stuff, you can always book a session with me and I'll give you a full report as to what we found. But if you just want it rid of you just want to get it gone today, to make sure you join us at noon today. How about a global exorcism? Does Chen have any ways of doing that? That's a good question, Matt. And to be honest, I got goosebumps. Maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe that's what this work is all about. Maybe that's what we're doing right now is a global exorcism, just very slowly and methodically. Because I do feel that that's one of the reasons why these attachments are so common right now. They're just about freaking everywhere. Is because I think they're desperate. They know that their time is coming to an end, that they are not going to be able to attach to people as easily as they thought they could in the past. Their food source is being slowly removed from them. So they're going to have to go somewhere else soon. Otherwise, they will be exorcised from this dimension. Yes, Chen has already, if you think about it, Chen is already doing mass clearings. Every time that we do a clearing online, that you guys are tuning in and you get a clearing, that is a mass clearing. But as I have been able to tell, Chen's plan is to be able to clear whole auditoriums full of people at live events. So I'm kind of hoping that might happen in London, where we just call in Chen and be like, clear the whole space, get them. But you'd be surprised, like, how many beings can be in just one space. If you remember, we cleared that school that used to be a prison with the hospital next door and the cemetery on the other side, and that had 600 earthbounds, over 300 entities, and nearly 100 portals. So, and over 1,000 curses from that land and that space alone. So think about how many. So if there's 1,000 curses and 300 earthbounds within a 1 block radius, imagine how many billions of them exist on this planet. We have a lot of work to do, you guys. Krista says, when a Lizzie is in a body and that body dies, can it just jump to another person's body instantaneously? Well, it depends on the person. If they're a vibrational match, yeah, absolutely. And this is part of the problem, right? And this is one of the things, and this is why I say, if you are booking a clearing for yourself and you think your family might need one too, it's better to book it for everybody all at once, because they jump around, family members. If the husband is a better snack for the day because he's stressed about something, they'll be on him all day. But if the wife is really stressing about something because something has happened or she's in pain or something is going on that's stressing her out, they jump to that one. So they hop like fleas to whoever is the tastiest that day. And this is also what I think they're doing whenever, because we do find a lot of residual energy attached to people. So when that happens, I believe the residual energy is they just left, and there's residual energy with everything you do, right? Like if you were to go and sit at the kitchen table in the morning and drink a cup of coffee and then you go to work, your residual energy is still sitting at that table for hours after you've left for work. Okay, so that residual energy is still there. The same thing for entities. So this is a lot of times when we do the clearing and they're not there, we can tell who was there because their energy is still hanging about, And so we kind of know who's jumped and where they went. So that's when we start checking family members. And we do. Sometimes we actually, and this is funny, sometimes when somebody, books a clearing for themselves and we check them, the soul guides will be like, no, it's on the husband now. And we'll be like, just clear them. Just clear them. They didn't pay for the husband too, but just clear them. Like we're not going to be like, no, he didn't pay. No, we're not going to clear him. No, if there's somebody that it jumps to and then we're like, okay, where did it go? And they're like, oh, it's on the husband now. We just go in and clear him too. So, but it does help though. If you feel like you have a large family and there's been a lot of drama, it helps to just book a family clearing and just clear everybody all at once, because that really does help. Because like I said, they will jump around all over the place. It's really frustrating and annoying. They're like fucking fleas from hell. Is the session with Chen free to everyone, or is it only to the paid membership? Well, depends. Because the paid membership is free for people that start. So you get a week free with the paid membership. And it's only $18 a month if you think about it. That's like 2 Starbucks coffees for the price of an entire month's worth of healing and metaphysical insight. It's worth it. So for those of you who have never signed up for our Stara website, you get a free week where you can join the membership for free. And there's so many things up there right now. It's unbelievable. For aftercare and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, we are actually compiling a large list of aftercare for people. So if you are a practitioner who is interested in this work and you're already doing the aftercare, like if they say there's a hypnotist listening, or if there's an energy healer that's listening and you would like to get involved in the aftercare, private message me, please, because we are going to be formulating a list of people who are, we're going to make sure we check everybody out first. We're not just going to put you on the list because you want to be on there. We want to make sure you're actually doing a good job first before we start recommending you to people. But we are going to have a list of aftercare people that are based on how much they charge. So we're going to have lists of people who are, offering free stuff. We're going to be listing people who are on Astara, who are also in the paid membership, because if you think about it, you can pay $18 a month. You get countless healers and people who are up there. We have mediumship classes on there. We have healing stuff. We have meditation. We've got yoga. We've got qigong. We've got all kinds of really wonderful shadow work workshops up there. I mean, that's why we're built Astara, is for the aftercare. Okay, so it's not just getting in and removing the attachments. You have to remove the things that got them in the first place, you know, whether it's an addiction or a way of thinking negatively about yourself. Because, you know, this is the funny thing that I've noticed from a lot of people, where they think they don't need a clearing if they don't have big problems in their life. Like, they don't have an addiction. They don't have rage issues. They don't have this or that, but they have things like pain and stress and anxiety or negative thoughts about themselves. And because they aren't negatively affecting other people, they think, well, you know, it's just me who's suffering. It's me, you know. There's a lot of people out there that do this. You'd be amazed at how many people care more about healing others than they care about healing themselves. And that's the opposite. You need to care more about yourself. I'm serious. A lot of people don't understand that. You cannot heal others if you haven't truly healed yourself. Okay? And so this is something that we have to do as homework. We really do need to work on ourselves on a very deep inner level. And I feel that we are doing that on Astara, almost on a daily basis. So you got to do the homework, you guys. And then once you've done your healing, you can lift up other people and help them heal and be more of service to the community. So the shadow work is not fun. It's not. But the fact that the shadow work workshops have not had that many people in is kind of sad if you think about it, because so many of you will be benefiting from this. So you just have to show up, you know? You got to take advantage of these things, because there are so many wonderful things on Astara that are not getting the attention they deserve. And I feel like I'm constantly promoting it. And I feel like, and still only 2 or 3 people show up. And it's like, come on, guys, you have to put this into your calendars and make sure that you show up. Like imagine that you're paying a therapist, you know, that you are investing in therapy. You have to keep that in mind. Even though you're not paying hundreds of dollars like a lot of people normally do for therapy, you still have to show up and make sure that you're putting in the effort. Because there are so many people that could be benefiting from these things. We have world-renowned teachers and mentors that are on Astara that are getting like 3 people watching their live talks. So come on. Even if you're just doing qigong. One of my friends got a clearing the other day, and they recommended doing qigong because he needs to move more, you know. And when I suggested it to him, this is one of my friends that I game with, he was just like, huh? Okay, if you say so. And he just kind of laughed and balked at it. I'm like, this is advice from your own guides, okay? And people are like, eh. Like, your guides are telling you you need to do this, and there's maybe I'll do it. No, stop making excuses. You got to show up and do the homework. No homework isn't fun. Please add the link to Astara. Here we go. AstaraCommunity.com. There you go. So we have the chitchat starting in an hour. So for those of you who are going to be coming for this chitchat for the clearing and the Q&A that we will be having, does anybody have any questions? Anything that they would like to ask Chen? Is there anything that you guys have been wondering about? I know, Ariana, you wanted to know something. Wasn't there a question you wanted to know? That's right. Wasn't it about the different levels of angels or something? What was that question? It was a really good question the other day. Do you remember what it was? Because I'll totally ask that question today. That would have been perfect. Erin says, I just started qigong because of this community. Wonderful. Perfect. I got my roommate to do what we did the other day, and he liked it. And he has back pain, and the swinging leg helped him. I've been doing the swinging leg thing too. That was a really good one, Christopher. Thank you for that, by the way. Because my hips always feel kind of like they're out of alignment, and I have actually been trying that one, and it does seem to help. Oh, Krista says, can I just say I love you? I'm blessed my soul has led me here. Aw. Love you too, Krista. Welcome to our big soul family. You're probably already a part of that soul family anyway. You just showed up a little later than some of us. I'm glad you found us. Who is directly below source and above the archangels? I'm going to break that down right now, actually, Ariana. That's a great question. See, that's one of the questions I will ask. Who is direct? I wonder if there's actually even going to be a name for something like that. Because remember what Chen said yesterday, that there are so many beings that are worse than Lizzie's and more powerful than angels, and yet we don't even have names for them. And it's like, damn. Below source and above the archangels. I want to know more about the archangels. We should ask questions about archangels today. I want to learn more about them that don't have the religious connotations. Who is Metatron? That's a good one. Ariana's kicking butt today. Any more questions? These are gems. Love it. Oh, Lucifer, huh? We could ask about that as well. Yes, there is going to be a replay. There's always a replay of the Chen chats. In fact, if you guys haven't seen the Chen chat from end of February, where he was talking about all this crazy stuff that's going to happen end of the year, you got to check that out. It's in the previous workshops one. Matt says the Transformer. Does Chen come through any other channel or just Andy? Nope, just Andy. Same with Siddhartha. I asked Siddhartha that. I was like, are you coming through any other people or just Angelica? Just Angelica. So that was surprising. I thought that Siddhartha would have like 20 people that he's coming through, but no, Angelica is the one he's chosen for this time. What an honor. How cool. Will we see Atlantis rise? I fucking hope not. Atlantis was not a nice place. Lemuria, that would be amazing. I would love to see Lemuria rise, but Atlantis, no. No, Atlantis can stay down there. Thank you. Nope. Candy says, I want to know about cryptocurrency as we see this big shift. That's a good question, actually. I'll add that to my list too. Love you, Candy. Ask about crypto. Let's see. Any other good questions? Can Metatron's symbolism be used in a good way? Well, I imagine lots of people use that symbolism, but let's ask about it. Who is Metatron, and what can you tell us about his symbolism? Okay. Ooh, what is this so-called anomaly moving up from Antarctica towards Essay and up? What? Are you talking about that big black anomaly that disappeared off the coast of West Africa? Is that what you're talking about? Because I did see that. That was really weird. It was like the size of Texas, this big black smudge moving through the Gulf Stream. And it shifted the entire Gulf Stream. It was really weird. And then it just, poof, it vanished. It's back? Are you serious? Oh. Really? Hold on, let me see if I can show you guys what this thing looked like. I didn't know it came back again. Yeah, it looked like a big, now of course I can't find the link about it. Candy says, is anyone else having a very hard time sleeping the last few days? 100%. Yep. I went to bed at 2 a.m. and I keep waking up at 6. I have no idea why. Normally my alarm is set for 7. So I don't know why I keep going to bed really late and keep waking up really early. So yeah, Candy, 100%. Ariana says cosmic agencies said archangels laugh at the idea of us humans praying to them, but others say to pray to Raphael for healing abilities. Are we not supposed to pray to anyone? Keep in mind, I even as a Tagetan myself, I do not agree with everything they say. I don't. I love them very much, and I look at them as long lost family that I would love to reconnect with, but I don't agree with them on everything. And I feel that some of the things they say can be a little, I don't know. Some of the things they said about the archangels recently did not resonate in the way that I have been learning about them through SRT. So I take my I make up my own mind. They have a completely different perspective from us. Yeah, 100%. So, but like I said, if something resonates, I take it as something that I'm supposed to understand for now. And sometimes things will change. Just because you believe one thing doesn't mean it won't evolve and change how you feel about it later. So who knows? I just think that I don't think anybody has all the answers, especially the ETs, because they have been manipulated as well as we have for a long time. Because many of them also being manipulated by the Federation and all the other bureaucrats that are up there. So they have noticed, the Tibetans have even said this themselves, that their records, they have noticed certain inconsistencies with their own records. And so I do believe that unfortunately propaganda is not something that we just deal with here on Earth, and that lots of things can be changed. And who knows? I don't think that anybody really is all knowing while you're in a physical body, even if you're an ET that lives 10,000 years. There's still a lot they miss. Ooh, Katya. Hi, honey. I just saw your question. I want to know, is Sephra an angel? Who's Sephra? I've never even heard of that. I'm trying to keep up on message on comments here. I do feel like there's a lot that whatever happened about your letter, which was related to the Galactic Federation? I don't know. It was probably ignored like all the other pleas we make down here. My 3 a.m. meditation feels like a constant battle with psychic attacks, lots of anxiety. I'm ready to relax and have a good night's sleep. I've been calling in Chen to heal my back, and it's been helping. Wonderful. I'm glad it's helping, Candy. I do feel like a lot of us are being messed with recently. I don't know if it's the shifting energies or if things are just kind of ramping up. I really do feel like there's all kinds of stuff that is getting more intense. So some of our clearings are getting more intense, as you guys saw me this morning. I was all riled up. I do feel better now. That smudge helped. So any other questions we should ask Chen? Because don't forget, the Chen chat starts in less than an hour from now. It's 11:11. 11:11. Been seeing that a lot lately. 11:11. Been seeing it everywhere. It's like stalking me. The ones. Even Aiden came running in this morning. He's like, "Mommy, look!" And he showed me an 11:11, and I just laughed. I'm like, "Yeah, you're getting it too, huh, little man?" Can we ask him how far through the shift we are? Yeah. I feel like I ask him that every Chen chat, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll see what numbers he gives us this time, because they do jump around a lot. Like I said, I think that the number depends on the person who's asking, because we are all in our own subjective holographic reality. And yes, Lori, it will be on the paid membership. And it will be recorded for those of you who won't be able to attend live. Julia says, Chen helped, but yes, something is happening around me, and in my house, thinking it's just energy updating. I don't know what it is, but the last few days, my intuition and my abilities have gone through the roof. Like, seriously, my mediumship abilities, what's funny is when I'm doing clearings now, I've been writing down what I pick up first before the medium chimes in, and it's been matching. So I'm like, yeah. the same time, like, I do feel like we're all getting really intense downloads. Anybody else getting these downloads where you just kind of feel differently when you wake up? Maybe that's why the dreams have been intense lately. I don't even remember what the dreams are, but I can really feel that things are changing. Andy's here. Hi, Andy. We are very excited about our chat with Chen in an hour. We did ask yesterday about London. Keep in mind that the guides don't see everything that we see on social media. I could ask him about it. I did ask him yesterday about London, and he basically just explained that, all the big energy centers where these cabal people are doing all kinds of stuff, the animals can sense the energy shifts even more than we can. And it's funny because there were so many people that live in London that commented on that post yesterday that were like, yeah, I can feel it. But yeah, who knows? My mom gave me so much shit for that post though. My mom's been breeding horses for 40 years. She's like obsessed with horses. She knows horses very well. And when I mentioned the post yesterday, she's like, horses get spooked all the time, Laura. She acted like I was the biggest idiot in the world for believing that. But you never know, you guys. Yes, horses do get spooked all the time. But when you see something strange, it happened on a full moon. The horses were like, one of the horses was completely covered in blood. The white horse out of all the horses was covered in blood running through the streets. And then the Moulin Rouge thing and a whole bunch of other consistency. It just seems weird. When there's multiple weird things happening at once, like, I don't feel like that's a coincidence. I really don't. Who knows? They could have been doing some ritual underground that the animals sensed. They could have seen a giant portal open. Who knows what the hell spooked them? Or it could have literally just been a giant cement truck making way too much noise that scared the shit out of the horses that were not finished with training, as my mother would say. My mom was like, they weren't fully trained. Okay, fine. But who knows? Who knows? It was a very weird thing, though. They say that they were trained military horses, but according to my mom, who has done a lot of digging into this, she said that they weren't fully trained and that they were being trained and blah, blah, blah. So this is the thing. You just never know. And when there's multiple things that are really strange, that's when I start raising my eyebrows. So I do appreciate my mom playing devil's advocate, though, and grounding me a little bit when it comes to my, holy shit, look at that. You just never know. You never know. So I don't try and go looking for these things. I don't try and make it sound like, oh, I'm definitely right about this, because none of us know. But is it possible? Yes. Is it worth discussing the possibilities? Yeah. So why not? We can talk about it. Doesn't mean we're right. Doesn't mean anybody else is, because I don't think we'll ever really know. Unless we ask the Soul Guide, and the Soul Guide does know. So maybe we will. So yeah, I'm just rambling here. Military horses are supposed to be calm and cool. Well, they are. So that's another thing that raised my eyebrow. But you never know. Does Chen know if we are cut out for SRT as well as our guides equipped for it? Actually, you know what's funny is that they know around the time you're born whether or not you're cut out for this work. Mm-hmm. That's why I've been jokingly calling Aiden, my little pod baby, my reinforcement, because yeah, he's here to do the same work as me. That's why he chose me as mom. And that's the funny thing, is that I didn't even know that. I didn't have that validated until very, very recently. Because yeah, it's not exactly a job for everybody. SRT stands for Spirit Release Therapy, where we are removing entities and curses and closing portals and chasing away beasties and baddies from people. So basically just going in and removing anything that should not be in your etheric field. And we work with the soul guides to do that. And it's a lot of fun to work with the soul guides. I'm going to say, I spend my days hanging out with soul guides, you guys. The mediums go into trance, and I get to have conversations with discarnate spirits. Like, It's so much fun. And yes, we do validate that they are who they say they are every single time we start working. So there's nobody that's going to come in and trick us into thinking we're talking to somebody else. So I mean, it's just so much fun. This is the best job I've ever had. I've done so many different jobs. I've done so many different things. And I can't tell you guys how much fun it is. And it's not always fun. As you saw this morning, I had my blood boiling a little bit because of what those fuckers were doing. But at the same time, being able to remove them and being able to help people, I don't think there's anything better than that. I really do. So for those of you who are considering doing this, just know that we need all the backup we can get. So please do. And yes, they do know. Sometimes they even are, I mean, some of you have had me call, had me clear your children because some of our kids are being messed with. Aiden a couple weeks ago came to me and goes, "Mommy, there's something Aina." He says Aina because it's in South Africa. That's what they say. Ouch, So he goes, "Mommy, Aina, Aina," and he's pointing at his heart, and I'm like, "What's the matter?" And he goes, "I don't know, Aina." And then I called in my team, and immediately it was gone. And I explained to him what happened, and he just said, "Okay," and he listens to me. He actually put his etheric bubble up and all of this. And when I asked the guides about it, they said, "Yeah, he's in training too, Laura." I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So I was in training for this as a kid. These things were happening to me too. It's just that I didn't have an adult that could explain them to me because the adults around me didn't know what they were bringing home with them. My father was a psychiatrist. He didn't know he was bringing home attachments that would mess with me as a kid. Oh, but they did. So many of our children are being messed with because they're in training for this work. That's why many of you have been messed with since your childhood, is because you were in training for this work. And so, yeah, it's one of those things where it's not going to be an easy training period. Okay, I had poltergeists in my house. I watched my dog get flung down the stairs by one of them. It was horrific. I didn't sleep with a light off in my bedroom for 3 years because I was so traumatized by the spirits that I brought in my house with that damn Ouija board. So he says, "How do you know that you are meant for this work?" You can feel it. Yeah, because honestly, Lisa says, "Do you ever get scared dealing with them?" I used to. I think that we desensitize ourselves a lot throughout the years through just going through and coping with what we've been doing, And it's like, I know that desensitizing yourself isn't always ideal for some situations because especially when it comes to trauma and stuff. But when it comes to this work, if you guys remember what I was like a year ago when I first found out about this, I just found out I had a curse on me and I was like, you know what I mean? And now I'm finding curses on everybody. I'm just like, it's just a curse. But when I first found out about it, I was so upset that I was cursed by somebody. And I found out immediately who it was cursed by because you could feel it. As soon as you find out you have a curse and somebody pops into your head, you know who cursed you. And when I found that out a year ago, I was so, I was not happy at all. But now I realize it's kind of like, meh, whatever. Throw a curse at me. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just clear it. Meh. Like you desensitize yourself eventually to these things. So in the beginning, the thought of having a Lizzie stalking you terrified the shit out of me. And that's why I called Siddhartha one day going, "Siddhartha, I can't get out of the house." Because the soul guides told me it's not attached to you, it's just stalking you. So you're going to have to get somebody to remove it. And I was like, what do I do? That scared me. But am I scared now? Hell no. Hell no. It took me, 2-3 months? And you guys have seen this change in me now. I'm not scared of Lizzie's one bit. Can't touch this. That's my attitude now. So in the beginning, yeah, you might get spooked. A little bit. You're dealing with some of the scariest shit that's on this planet. But you know what I think makes me not scared at all these days? The amount of backup I have. My spiritual entourage right now is nobody's fucking with me. I'm telling you, when you start doing this work, you start getting more and more backup. And then, yeah, you become untouchable. And that's why I feel I haven't had a severe attachment from like a Lizzie in, I think, a month or two now. Because like I said, the more you do this work, the more your vibration raises anyway, so you become untouchable. And even though they try and mess with your family sometimes, and as I've noticed, they had 3 Lizzies attack my mom, that actually ended up being a good thing, which is really weird. You would think that would have been like a bad thing because it really riled me up and it spooked her. But now she's actually taking this work seriously. Now she's actually listening to me. And so she may not have given up the news yet. I've been trying to get her to stop watching the damn news. She's not listening. She is listening in other things. She's carrying crystals around. She's got organite in her pocket all the time. She's talking more positively to herself. She's being more patient with certain things that she wasn't before. And so, it's like you learn through these attacks that seem like they're really bad at first, but then, most of us are cleared within 5 to 10 minutes. We have other people in our group that we can just text within seconds and we're clear. So even if you do get attacked, it's like, oh yeah, can you clear it? Yeah. Oh, bastard's gone. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Like, that's all it takes to get rid of them. So they can try and mess with us all they want, but we are basically, the amount of backup that we have and the amount of in the astral and in the physical now, like, good luck. It's like, you can't touch this. Karen says, I sent you a picture with a new baby toy that has an Ouija board. That was AI art. That was AI art that was generated through a computer. It's still pretty messed up, but I'm pretty sure somebody made that just to rile people up, and they were successful. Andrew says, great question. You will know if this is for you if it calls you. Katie found her family are now more protected being trained as an SRT practitioner, but then before she can protect her children herself. 100%. Yep. Because remember, many of us are in training for this kind of work. And so we have been dealing with some of these things. And so when you get into the position where you're trained and ready to remove these things, they're not formidable anymore. They're almost harmless in many ways, because it's the lengthened exposure that causes the most problems. The longer that attachment is there, the more they get to destroy the house, if you know what I mean. It's like having a bad tenant. So if you come in and you find out your tenant is bad and you evict them within a few days, they didn't do that much damage. You can go and repair all the little things that they destroyed. And then if you had a bad tenant for a few months, it might take you a little longer to repair the damage they did. But if you had a bad tenant for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you have to rebuild the entire house from scratch sometimes, if you know what I mean. So that's why the sooner we can get these things cleared, the better. Where do you train? I recommend checking out Dr. Terrence Palmer. If you go and search Dr. Terrence Palmer on YouTube, in fact, I'll even type in his name so you know this about Dr. Terrence Palmer. And you search him on YouTube, you will find his YouTube channel. I recommend starting with his seminars and lectures that he has. I recommend checking out some of his case studies and seeing if you have the stomach for this work. And if you do, then contact the Spirit Release Academy website. See Spirit Release Academy. There's other groups as well. We have a Spirit Release Academy official discussion group. Thank you, Chantal. So there is a lot of really wonderful things that you can look into to see if you are called to do this work. And if you are, I reckon we are going to have an in-person class next month. That's going to be in the UK. After that, we will be doing online classes. So we will be doing online for people as well, for those of you who cannot travel. I believe the online is about £2,000 is for the class. But let me tell you, this is a career change, you guys. I'm not kidding. So it's worth absolutely every penny that I put into this work and then some, because like I'm telling you right now, this is the best career I could have chosen, hands down. Like, for somebody who's very bells and whistles like me and very much into, like, I like exciting things. That's why on my 16th birthday, I signed up to be a firefighter. Like that was my present to myself on my 16th birthday. You know, most kids are like, I want a car. I'm like, I want to fight fire. That was so some people just have these things inherently inside them. And if you feel that this is something for you, it probably is. So, and they also offer payment plans. Thank you, Ariana. Exactly. So when I say that this is a hell of a career, I am not kidding. So Julia says, my mantra yesterday while Chen was sending healing to us was this: only I am worthy of my existence in this place. I reclaim this. That's beautiful, Julia. It's a nice mantra. Sarah says, oh, so that's what happened. 2 years of renovation hell after terrible tenants trashed the house. Yep. It's a pretty good analogy, right? It fits. Love it. So anyway, I will give you guys 30 minutes break to go and have a snack or whatever. I have to go feed my minion in the living room right now. He's still home from school with a sore throat. I didn't want to make the other kids, he didn't want to risk the other kids in school getting sick. So my little guy gets to play hooky for 2 days in a row, and he's loving every second of it right now. He's milking it for all it's worth out there right now. Does the clearing work on replay, and will it work on a few people in the room? Yes, it will. Brilliant question, Orla, and yes, it will. So the clearing does work and replay because the soul guides know when you're watching it. They know. So if you are actually going through and, oh, there's a spammer. I got you, you little bugger. Bye, David. That's your real name. Delete. Oops, nope. Hold on. Delete. Sorry. Got to get the whack-a-mole hammer out. Damn spammers. So, any other questions before I run off and go make pancakes for my little monkey out there? I have a problem. I hear noises in my body everywhere, even in my head. Is it a spirit or a demon? Well, this is the thing. We are all mediums. So if you're hearing things inside your own head, that's called telepathy, my love. And that is something that you were probably, it could be all kinds of different things. Just because you're hearing something doesn't mean that it's instantly a spirit or a demon. It could be anything. Could be a thought form, could be an elemental, could be an earthbound, could be an entity. Who knows? So just I think you should come for the clearing. We'll get Chen to clear everybody that comes to the meeting today. We can get a quick clearing to go through and just get rid of all the beasties and baddies on the call. Okay. We'll have him do that first. That way you guys can just have a nice chilled zened out chit chat with us. Okay. So make sure that you just come in and join us. All right. It's on astaracommunity.com. You do have to be a paid member, but if you sign up right now, you get 7 days free, so you won't even have to pay for this. All right? You can always just cancel afterward if you really want to. So here we go. Daniela, you're amazing. Thank you, darling. So here we go. It's Stara from Friday to Sunday. On Friday at noon, Chen will be in the paid membership. And then at 8 p.m. tonight, make sure you guys set your alarms because this is going to be amazing. Rachel Chamness is going to be doing an Atlantis past life meditation. Okay. So many of you, as I mentioned today, have past lives in Atlantis and Lemuria and quite a few other places. So if you would like to tap into one of those past lives and maybe check the records and see what you experienced during those times, Rachel is going to be doing that for you guys for the paid membership today. So don't miss that out there. Okay. 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, there's going to be free Qigong. So make sure, as I was saying to you guys, you got to get moving with the Qigong. This is one of the most important things that you could do for aftercare. They're saying movement. You can't, especially if you're like me, who spends a huge portion of my day sitting in this chair, doing some Qigong in the morning or in the evening or both would be even better, is really game changing. Okay. And then on Sunday, there will be free Qigong and forgiveness practice with Sacred Sunday. That's at 1 p.m. EST. And then there's also going to be a group hypnosis with Dr. Scott at 2 p.m. So when I say we have so many goodies, we don't even know what to do with them all. We're not kidding. So make sure that you guys are using Astara for what we're building it for. And that is for aftercare and for spiritual growth and healing. And so it is going to be a very packed weekend. And also this Sunday, I will be seeing you guys live because my friend Katie Jordan, who I work with almost every single day doing clearings, Katie is going to be hosting an event on Sunday. And so I will be basically televising that event for her. So you guys will get to see Andy doing a live psychic surgery on stage. And we may also choose somebody to get psychic surgery in the States. Somebody we're looking for somebody actually who might want that actually. So if you would like some healing today, you can message me and maybe we could choose somebody from the followers who would like to get a live psychic surgery on Sunday. So Katie's event, and it's going to be recorded, so that way you guys, if you miss it, don't worry about it. You can always catch it later. I believe that'll be at 10. So the normal podcast time, I believe. We'll find out. If you guys are subscribed, you'll see when we go live. I believe that'll be at 10 o'clock on Sunday, 10 EST, like I normally time or start my podcast time. So you guys will be able to see them doing a live psychic surgery demo, and Andy will be giving a wonderful speech, won't you, Andy? So that'll be a lot of fun. So I will see you guys then as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys in 30 minutes with the chitchat. Go enjoy a snack or get yourself some water or something, and I will see you guys very soon. I love you all very much, and thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in a little bit.